a few very recent chemical spills that have caused people to have to evacuate. And the reason we're doing this is because I want to try to also introduce you guys to MiraSafety gas masks and help you understand why these are a good item to keep in your preps. MiraSafety sent this out to me to show you guys. They're having a sale on these right now. If you use my affiliate code, which is Reality Survival at MiraSafety.com, along with the sales price, you can get the mask alone for about $183 right now. And that's the sale's only going to last, I think, another day or two. So I would go over to MiraSafety.com, check it out, and see if you want to pick one of these up. Now, I'm going to, at the little bit later in the video, I'll just kind of, cover a little bit more on the mask and kind of how it's made and the specs on it and all that kind of stuff. But this is a pretty good one. This is the CM8M, and it's a newer mask. It's built to the global military specifications. I like it because you've got a really wide field of view. It's almost like a 90% field of view, and anything like the full face shield or this style are the way to go, in my opinion. So anyway, we'll cover the mask a little bit more later on, but for now, let's go ahead and hop into the presentation. All right, let's see if we can. All right, we'll start here. Okay, so this was as of June 13th, 2025. The U.S. Chemical Safety Board opened an investigation, and they had a release of toxic nitric acid and nitrogen oxide at the Austin Powder Company's Red Diamond facility. And what you'll see in a lot of these instances is that these things can happen pretty much anywhere. They can happen at chemical facilities. They can happen at like refineries. They can happen along freeways from just, trucks going down the freeway. And they can also happen along railways and stuff as well. So if you live within a couple of miles of either a major freeway, a railway, or any kind of chemical processing plant, this really should be kind of a no-brainer in my humble opinion. All right, so here's another bulletin. We had the U.S. Chemical Safety Board issues their update. It was a massive fire and smoke plume that led to the evacuation of 17,000 residents and a shelter-in-place order for 90,000 others. And this was out in Conyers, Georgia, at the chemical fire at a Biolab Inc. facility. All right, let's look at another one here. This one was in Arizona, and it was along I-10. You had a collision and hazardous materials spill not far outside of Houston. And with the initial information, let me go down here, said that they were investigating a collision involving a commercial truck tractor hauling a box trailer that rolled over an Interstate 10 between Rita and Kolb Roads, approximately 2:43 p.m. on February 14th, 2023, and the commercial vehicle is leaking hazardous material. They closed the highway, and let's see, and then that's pretty much it. Oh, and then troopers anticipate extensive closure. Motorists are advised to avoid the area. So, and then there's a picture of it. You can see the chemical gas, kind of spewing out of the truck and everything. It can be yellow gas. So this stuff can be pretty nasty. Here is another one from Illinois State Police let me zoom this in so you guys can see it a little bit better. October 1st, 2023. This was... where was it at? Approximately 9:25 p.m. on September 29th, 2023. ISP was notified of a crash on U.S. Highway 40, about a half mile east of Teutopolis, involving multiple vehicles, including a semi-truck leaking anhydrous ammonia. And the truck was carrying approximately 7,500 gallons of anhydrous ammonia at the time of the accident, of which 4,000 leaked. They ended up evacuating, it looks like, about 500 residents, and Highway 40 was closed off for several miles. And we got a couple more here. Okay, this is from AP. We've got a fire at Louisiana oil refinery since towered black smoke into the air, but no injuries were reported. And this was at the South Louisiana oil refinery. And let's see if it says how many folks they. I think they just had people shelter in place on this one. No. See, there was a mandatory evacuation within 2 miles of the refinery as a precaution, even though we've been assured that all impacts are contained to the facility. So yeah, they evacuated 2 miles out from that one. All right, another one at the EPA here. We had on February 3rd, 2023, the Norfolk, this is the East Palestine, Ohio one. Everybody probably remembers this. The Norfolk Southern freight train derailed, and you had about 50 cars that were affected in the derailment, and some of them caught fire. We did a live video talking about this one with Eric from Rural Wasteland, I think. And they ended up evacuating an area that was about 2 miles by 1 mile, if I remember correctly. All right, let's keep on rolling down the road here so I can show you guys this mass. Another one from AP. Explosion at the world's largest rail yard in Nebraska prompts evacuations because of heavy toxic smoke. And at around noon, an explosion occurred inside the intermodal container on a railway car in Union Pacific's Bailey yard in North Platte, though it wasn't clear what caused the explosion. The rail yard spokesman Robin Tismere said no one was injured, no cars were derailed. The authorities evacuated everyone within a 1 mile radius of the explosion in the western end of the rail yard because of the smoke. So it's pretty common on these stories to see at least a mile or 2 miles of evacuation whenever these things happen. This one's from Axios. It says what to know about the toxic Indiana storage facility fire. And more than 2,000 residents of Indianatown are under evacuation order after a large industrial fire broke out at the materials storage facility on Tuesday. Okay, just a couple more. We're finished up with this. Another one from AP. Residents shelter in place for hours after chemical plant explosion in rural Texas. This one, a massive fire at a chemical plant in rural Texas on Wednesday sent a plume of black smoke into the sky as officials closed down a local highway and ordered residents to take shelter for several hours. Authorities had asked residents within a 1 mile radius of the chemical plant fire in Shepherd, as well as those surrounding communities, to shelter in place for about 5 hours. All right. And I think this is the last one from the, the Chemical Safety Board. This was December 19th, 2022. The U.S. Chemical Safety Hazard Investigation released its final report on the explosions and fires at the TPC Group Port Neches operation facility in Port Neches, Texas. Neches, I guess that's how you say that. Incident occurred when a piping section ruptured, releasing highly flammable butadiene that quickly ignited. The resulting pressure wave destroyed parts of the facility and injured 2 TPC employees and a security contractor. The blast damaged homes, nearby homes and buildings, and was reportedly felt 30 miles away. Local officials stated that the process fluid that continued to escape from the ruptured equipment fueled fires that burned for more than a month. So, all right, that is pretty crazy. Let me just show you a real quick shot of the MiraSafety website. You just go to MiraSafety.com. Looks like their sale, they're having a preparedness sale, is going to last for another 1 day and 7 hours and 25 minutes. And the particular gas mask that I'll be showing you today is the CM8M, which is the one that's on sale for $199. If we click on that, you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like here. And like I said, you can use the discount code Reality Survival to save another 10% on top of that. So it ends up coming out to like 183 or 180 something like that. So this is pretty cool. You've got, again, 92.5% field of view. It's also compatible with night vision devices, thermal optics, scopes, and red dot sights. And it uses the standard 40 millimeter NATO cartridges. And it has a 20-year shelf life for long-term usability. They give you free shipping, 30-day returns, 100% satisfaction guaranteed, and real human support. So these gas masks are made in Czechoslovakia, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's where it says. Oh, Czech Republic. Sorry. All right. So let's take a look at the mask real quick, because I don't want to keep you guys on here forever, but I do want to give you a good look. This mask comes with a 1-quart canteen that has the chemical port, or the water suction tube port for chemical, biological, and nuclear equipment. You got a little hose that hooks onto the mask right here, and you can take and kind of plug that into the top. Oops. I usually get it wet, and it kind of helps it a little bit. It helps it go in a little easier. That's what she said. All right. And then you can just, once you get that up, you tilt this upside down when you drink from it. That way you don't have to take your mask off when you're in a exposed environment. So that is pretty cool. And then your hose just kind of tucks up around here and stays in place on the front right there. So on one side, you've got the ability, you can install the cartridges on either side or on both sides. And so this just has a little screw out. It's tight. Man, I can't get it with my bare hands. I'm going to need to grab a pair of pliers. Yeah. So that's pretty tight. But anyway, that'll come out. That'll unscrew. And then you've got the other side that your 40 millimeter, just regular cartridge, filter cartridge goes into. They also sell these at Mira. And that will screw on like that. So depending on if you're right or left-handed, if you were in an environment where you had to fire a rifle, then you might want to decide, which side you wanted to have this on to make it a little bit easier to fire. Or if you're going to be in an extended situation where you have to be outside for a longer period of time, then you can have both filters on, so you get double the amount of exposure time as well. So pretty cool. This let's look at the head net system. This is probably one of the most important parts, aside from just the overall construction materials and everything like that. But making sure that you have a good fit on your head is really important. And that's one of the reasons that I like these, is they have a 6-point system where you've got 2 here, 2 up top, and 2 on the sides, so that you're going to get a really good seal whenever you're putting this thing on your face. And like I said, that's super important. The butyl material here, what's it called? Let me see if I can read. Bromobutyl rubber, feels like the same thing that the U.S. military masks use. I don't know 100% if they are the same or not. I just know it feels very similar, very pliable, very similar type of material. And that's good, because you're going to be able to store it, and it's not going to get, kinked and all that kind of stuff. You can keep it in your tactical gear and all that, and it'll be ready for use whenever you need it long term. Look, if you can see this, let's see if I can show you. Yeah, you might not be able to see it. Right in there, there is a little hose, and that's where you do the drinking from. You can just kind of push your mask up close to your face, and you can put your lips in that hose, and that's where you can do the drinking from. Again, like I was talking about earlier, one of the important things I think when selecting a gas mask is, especially from a tactical perspective, is to make sure that you have a really wide field of view. The other one that I showed you guys, I don't remember the the model number of it, but it was a full face mask. And I really like the full face masks as well. But if you're not going to have the full face mask one, then this one is also good. And what else can I say about that? Oh, and then you got the little valve here for turning the water off and on as well. I think that's pretty much it. Let me run down some of the kind of technical data that it's got here on the box for you. It weighs about 560 grams, has one size, and they do actually make smaller masks for kids and stuff as well, and they have like infant chambers and stuff as well. So they got a lot of options if you just want to check out their website. Effective field division is 90%. The overlapped field division is minimum of 85%. The intelligibility of talk is 95%. And face piece material is bromobutyl rubber. And the visor material is polycarbonate. So it's going to be nice and strong. Your filter connection threads are the NATO 40 millimeter. And your breathing resistance is, what does it say? I don't even really know how to read that. It's some kind of technical term there. Inhalation resistance is max 30 PA, and the exhalation resistance is max 60 PA, if that means anything to you. The company is located in Austin, Texas, but they import these from the Czech Republic. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't really know anything else to say about this. I think that these are great to have. You should have at least one for each family member in the house. Obviously, if there were ever a nuclear war situation and you had to go outside in a radiological environment where there was fallout, then these masks are going to be perfect for that, as well as these NBC 77 filters. SOF filters. That is going to be what you're going to need to be able to filter out the radiological garbage. And I've got some videos talking about that, and I've shown you these mirror masks in the past as well, in separate videos as well. So anyway, overall, I think that these are a great item. They're on sale. It could save you guys quite a bit of money. If you want to check them out, then head on over and check them out, MiraSafety.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Stay safe.